And welcome back to another episode of I to Nigh. I'm Vlad.
I'm Joey.
Joy T!
Joey T!
Welcome back, everybody. We are back for season 2, episode 2. If you haven't caught season 1, catch it on Spotify. We've got all the episodes up there, plus some off-season hijinks that I know everybody out there is gonna love. So take a look through it. But today we're getting started with this episode, and Joey, how the hell are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm just kind of, been diving a little deeper into like the rabbit hole of COVID again, so it's not healthy for me. So I'm just I need to put down TikTok.
Okay.
I'm just like on a bunch of conspiracy TikTok shit, and it's just not good,
Yeah.
So other than that, I've been great though.
Nice.
Vlad, how about you? How you been, man?
Just working, just doing the thing, Pretty much I feel like that's 30s nowadays.
Yeah.
You go to work, you do the thing.
It's the same shit every day.
Yeah.
You're not going to Fiesta, Texas this day, and then...
God, you remember back in those days, it was like you had a class field trip, you were going to Six Flags or Fiesta, Texas, like the funnel cake.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
I can't remember, like, our field trips. There was a museum in San Antonio called the Whitty.
Mm-hmm.
It was so amazing. It was such a great museum. It's still around, but they had like motion simulators. They had like, so like they'd have a different exhibit for like every 3 months or something. So they'd have like the human body, dinosaurs, whatever.
Yeah.
It was just, those are the field trips I always loved. I hated going to the missions. Do you know about the missions in San Antonio?
No, I don't.
So they're like the really old, I don't know if it was like when Spain came over here and fucked everyone up, but it was like just these really old holy buildings, and it was just the worst field trip ever. It was really boring and just not fun, hot, and just walking around these old.
So they just show you some like rundown building, and they're like,
yeah, like some old stone, church or something. You're just like, God. But Catholic school, you gotta.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You gotta keep it going. So, but yeah, you're 30 now, so it's like, whatever. It's like if you get like pot belly one day, it's like, wow, this is great.
Yeah.
That's your treat for the month.
We should just do an adult field trip, just next time we know somebody who's going on a like school field trip, hey, we're coming too.
Yeah, well, that's the good thing is like now we're old enough, we can just go on a vacation whenever we want.
Yeah.
You gotta spend your own money, but
but we were working hard for it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not all bad.
Yeah.
But speaking of those little breaks in our lives, though, as a 30-year-old, we got movies.
Yeah.
Still, since COVID came around, a lot of movies were pushed back.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to just release them either on whatever, HBO, where people aren't really I don't know how they monetize that, but the newest trailer came out, or I guess this is the only trailer for The Matrix 4. Reloaded. What are your thoughts on that, Flower? Because I'm a big Matrix. I mean, I remember it coming out. It was like in 1999. That movie changed, I think, the game for like sci-fi. Yeah.
The Matrix was a game changer. I think back then it was the Wachowski brothers.
Yes.
And
now they're women.
Yeah.
They've transitioned.
So Wachowski siblings, let's just call it.
Yes.
But we're on the same page. Like Matrix came out, I was in high school. That was like the movie that changed everything, and it was like just seeing Neo, he's like, oh, there's the white rabbit, he went down the rabbit hole.
I know Kung Fu.
Yeah. I was just rewatching that movie, like it was epic.
Yeah.
Actually, like one Halloween, my friends and I in high school, we dressed up as the characters.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, like I had the trench coat, I had, the shaved head.
Wow, that's...
Yeah,
like
we were
a school shooter almost. That was like the blame for when Columbine happened, and a lot of people blamed because they were in the trench coat mafia.
Oh.
And they in the Matrix, they kind of
had like guns and automatic.
Yeah. That scene with Neo though, where he's like he's in the bank or something. He goes through the metal detector.
Oh yeah,
it's the best scene.
Bag.
Yeah.
That
was just amazing. And he's like hiding behind the pillars and just getting
I mean, everybody in some shape or form was like a Matrix fan.
Oh,
Either like you had, the I know Kung Fu, or like if you knew how to like do advanced shit with a computer, you were a hacker, you were breaking into the system.
Yeah.
It's an epic movie, but the thing is, I feel like it didn't really age well. So that's
Yes.
like, I love the first one, like die-hard first Matrix movie fan.
Yeah.
But then I watched the second and I was like, it's okay. I watched the third and I was like, what is this?
The third, well, once it got to Revelations, it was like, come on, just stop it. I liked the second one.
Okay.
The second one was really good, I thought, were the twins, like the albino dudes.
Yeah.
And Monica Bellucci was in that one. Holy shit. That was like her
It
first...
didn't have its bad parts.
Yeah, that was like her first American... She's like a really famous Italian actress and European. She's been around forever, but like in America, I think that was the first time a lot of people saw Monica Bellucci were like, whoa, who the fuck?
I mean, yeah, the Merovingian was very lucky.
Yeah, but I loved one, obviously. Two was really good. I remember I saw in the theater. They made a video game for two. That came out on the PlayStation. I'm sure it was on the Xbox too.
There was also like that animated series, right? Like the Animatrix or something.
Yes, I heard that was really good too. I never watched that. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Or on HBO right now. But shout out HBO Max. Please hit me up with a deal, like a t-shirt, whatever. Talk about you guys way too much for not getting some kind of monetary like payment. But yeah, the trailer though, I don't know. I'm a little. Obviously, I'm more cynical nowadays.
Jaded.
So I'm jaded. I'm angry. You know, just
goddamn movies.
Goddamn Matrix again. I don't know. I wasn't digging it. I was like, okay, so now Neo doesn't know what happened. He's back to being just Neo.
Okay, so we're thinking the exact same because I saw the trailer and I was like, I had so many questions.
Yeah.
First of all, it just seems like a cash grab. Like, Wachowski siblings, I'm sorry, but like, this isn't Fast and Furious.
Yes.
Okay. They have 10, even that's just kind of crazy. You guys made 3. Time to cut it off, all right? But even then, okay, so let's go with it. Why is Neo still alive? I thought he was dead after the end of the third one. And then also
and Trinity was dead.
Yeah,
she died.
Like, are they programmed? Like, what's the backstory? I need the context because I feel like I saw the first 3, and then you're telling me these people came back, and all of a sudden Neo bumped his head. He doesn't know who he is anymore.
And it's not a prequel, obviously.
Yeah,
because Neo and Trinity, like, they're like, wow, you're still here.
They're like recalling back.
So we know it's not a prequel. But the other thing is that I noticed in the trailer was Neo's looking in the mirror, and it's a reflection of a different guy. So maybe he's a different, like
his physical form is different now?
Yeah, like maybe he's Neo, but maybe he's like, when he died, he came back as like a different being, like on that, not in the Matrix, but on the fake world or whatever. And my other major bone to pick is what the fuck is going on with Morpheus's nephew? Is that supposed to be Morpheus? Because I don't like that it's not Lawrence Fishburne.
I need continuity!
Yeah. I mean, come on, Lawrence Fishburne. Like, you don't tell me he didn't want to do this friggin' movie. What's going on? That doesn't even look like Morpheus.
So, yeah, I imagine that's some, like...
other type of Morpheus or something?
I mean, I was just gonna say, like, maybe Morpheus died and got replaced with, like,
another
V2 or V, something like that. Because, it's definitely not Morpheus. And Lawrence Fishburne has done a lot of stuff that's not The Matrix.
Yes,
like,
and he's great.
Yeah, but he's also done some, like, I think he was on, like, CSI or something like that. It's like, if you can do CSI, you can do The Matrix 4.
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
But even what was that guy's name? So Neo runs into this guy who, everybody's wearing black, but this one guy is, like, all white. And he's like, you never actually know anybody until you fight them.
Yeah.
And it's like...
oh, yeah. They're doing, like, karate shit again.
Yeah, because there's a clip in the trailer where Neo is fighting this karate guy.
Yeah.
But the karate guy is not the same karate guy from the other movie.
Right.
So I don't know what the hell's happening.
Is he he's an Asian guy, right, or something?
I think he's a black guy.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was just very strange.
Yeah, it's just like, the one reason I don't want to say it's a cash grab is because it's been so long since, because you bring up Fast and Furious, which is the quintessential example of a cash grab.
One. Yeah. Fight me on the street.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Even Too Fast, Too Furious was okay.
Yeah.
But, they make one of those every year. But this, it's been like, I don't even know, 10 years since, or probably more, 15?
Yeah.
Maybe not 15. I don't know when I think Revelations was the third one, which I remember watching, I was like, this is fucking terrible.
Doo-doo.
Yeah, so maybe, who knows, maybe I'll be surprised. There's a lot of symbolism in there with Alice in Wonderland.
I mean, that's the Wachowski siblings' whole thing, right?
Yeah,
like if you
the
watch
rabbit
Cloud
hole.
Atlas or any of
I
them,
never saw that.
it's all this like metaphysical, like digging into realms, symbolism,
I like
type
that.
shit.
I don't get it, but I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's their stick.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I've seen one of their movies where there isn't that, you know.
It's like Christopher Nolan is obsessed with time traveling.
Yeah.
Every freaking movie, it's about time travel. He does a really good job with it, even though I didn't understand Tenet whatsoever. I don't think it's meant to be understood. That freaking movie made no sense to me. It was just pissing me. I couldn't even hear what they were saying. I was just like, I don't get it, Christopher Nolan, but whatever. It's got the guns and shit. So.
I haven't seen Tenet, but it's on my list.
Yeah.
It's on my list.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody who I've talked to or heard talk about that movie, they said it's confusing as fuck.
You just don't get it. I mean, Michael Washington, I hope that's his name, Denzel Washington's kid, just like, he's really good. I mean, he's gonna be great. He's got that, he even sounds like Denzel.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like him, but he sounds like him.
But you know, one thing I heard, going back to Nolan for a sec, that there's some deal in the mix where he requested like $100 million budget, I think like all distribution rights or something like that. Like it was some kind of crazy deal to do his next movie. And they were saying like there's really only maybe like 3 or 4 people, like directors, who could call that, you know, and get that kind of
Like
prestige.
him, Scorsese, Tarantino, maybe.
Maybe Tarantino, Spielberg could do it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
James Cameron.
Ugh.
You weren't such a big fan of Avatar?
No, I can't believe they're doing a second Avatar.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go see that.
I didn't like that movie at all. It was just a bunch of blue idiots humping trees. I know there's probably a deeper meaning, blah, 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 but yeah, so anyway, The Matrix though,
Hard pass.
yeah, I'll watch it 10 years from now on HBO. So
Yeah.
Sometime, you know.
I'm sure some YouTuber will do like a analysis and a
Yeah.
summary and all that. That's probably where I'll catch it.
Yeah, I love Keanu Reeves. That's
Yeah.
like the one redeeming quality with any movie he's in. I'm just like, it's Keanu Reeves. Like he's probably like he seems like the nicest guy in the world. So
I mean, if the stories about him are true, he really is.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to hate that guy,
Yeah.
you know? And I think especially being in show business, he's like the stories I've read about him were very selfless.
yeah, and
You
he's
know?
been in it a long time.
Yeah.
Like early '90s. So he's been doing the same for a long time. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna wait a little bit. I would rather see Dune. I think
Yeah.
the remake of Dune looks really good. A lot of people aren't the biggest fan of Timothy Oliphant. Is it not Timothy Oliphant?
You're talking about the main character?
Yeah.
I don't remember his name, but I know who you're
I
talking
think it's
about.
Timothy Oliphant.
What?
No, it's not Timothy Oliphant. Who the fuck is that? Oh my god, this is ridiculous. Hold on. Sorry, guys. This is just... I know his name. I don't know why I'm Timothy Oliphant. That's like the guy from Justified or something. But anyway. Well, we can edit this out. Okay, so... Let's see. Is Dune based on Islam? I didn't know that. I didn't even know. Timothy Chalamet. Jesus Christ,
Come on,
I'm
Joey.
old. You know, if I was 18, I would have known that right fucking then, man. But yeah, anyway, that Timothy Chalamet is like blowing up. He's in everything. He was in a movie King. That was on Netflix. Do you see that? It's like the old like.
Is that the one where like the boy becomes king and he's
Yes.
riding on the horse?
It's sick. It's a great movie. That was like the first thing I saw him in. But yeah, there's other movies I'd rather see than The Matrix. But you know. But anyway, let's get to maybe a more serious topic, which is the
worker strikes.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's been going on for a while, actually. I mean, I've always heard of them. I think the ones that resonate the most right now are the teacher strikes, obviously.
Yeah.
And then, like, there's a bunch of union strikes. But what have you seen about that?
I've seen a lot of memes, you know, just
Nice.
on the internet, just watching memes. You know, you'll see like the McDonald's billboard, or you'll see like, you know, the Popeyes billboard, and it's like, we all quit.
We closed, motherfucker.
Exactly. Yeah. Or you go through a drive-through, there's all a sign taped up, and it's like, sorry, closed for the day. We all quit.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild, right? I think the pandemic has definitely made. So I guess actually, let me take a step back, right? Because when we say worker strikes, right, part of what we're talking about are like these minimum wage frontline workers.
Yeah.
You know, people in the shit. Like this is the folks at the customer service desk at Walmart. These are the people preparing your food.
Yeah.
When you go through the drive-through, like they've seen the worst of humanity.
Yeah.
You know.
And some of them are the worst of humanity. To be fair.
I I can't dispute that. I mean, statistically speaking, I'm sure there's some percentage.
There's bad apples everywhere, though.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the pandemic is just kind of forced people, to reevaluate things. And it's like, do I want to be making $7.25, busting my ass for 12 hours a day, and my manager's like tossing the shift around, or do I want to find something else? Like,
yeah, this is my argument with this, because I think when we first started talking about this topic and doing it, I focused and honed in on the $15 minimum wage thing.
Yeah. So
I did a ton of research on that, and I started realizing, well, as you said, it's not just minimum wage people striking. It's like the big one right now is the one in Seattle. And I don't know if you know about that one. It's all these they're doing a lot of refurbishing of old buildings. Like Microsoft has like a huge like complex in Seattle, and these carpenters just straight up said, fuck it, like we're going on strike, we're not paid enough. And it's luckily for this project, it's not taxpayer money, so they feel comfortable about that. But there are other projects in Seattle where the carpenters went on strike and it is taxpayer money, so they're a little more concerned. Like there's affordable housing where they're creating 350 new homes that are affordable for people to live in, low-income people. Those people are on strike right now. So and that's already going to take a few years. So now it's maybe pushed back another year.
Yeah.
But looking at the salary of these carpenters, it's anywhere from like 30 grand, which is not shit, especially in Seattle, Washington, up to like 116,000 for a carpenter. So like that's the top 7th percentile are making that much money. A lot of these guys, probably like the median is, I would say like 60 grand, which is not bad.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't think they're just fighting for higher wages, that they're fighting for more benefits and, stuff like that, health insurance. As far as the teachers, it's like, I know in British Columbia, they had like a massive strike, for like a teacher strike. And they were just saying, like, we're just going to get rid of your right to strike because it's costing taxpayers too much money.
Is that legal?
Well, I guess it is from the article I read, because they gave them, like, they said you can strike.
Yeah.
But now, because they couldn't strike before, and then the government was like, no, we'll let you have strike. But now they're saying, like, no, like, we may take that away because it's just, like, too much money. But I have seen so many doing research, at least the strikes in America in the past few years, they've actually had good resolutions in terms of these teachers went on strike, like Chicago. I think there was one in Iowa, the one in Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the Michigan one was like really crazy.
I don't remember the Michigan one, but I remember when I lived in Chicago actually walking through downtown and seeing like there were like literally just teachers out there with like red shirts on. They had their picket signs and they're just out there like protesting, and it's like,
yeah, we
want higher wages, we want this, we want that, and it's like, I don't think it ever actually happened, but there's also some accounting questionability with like the pension fund that they pay into and like all this shit. But yeah, I mean, how do you feel about this? Because my take is, I feel it's good that people are out there. It's like, hey, if you feel like you're getting shafted, make it known.
Yeah.
Stand up for your rights. Like, if you think you're not getting paid enough or you want extra benefits, like, come together, make some noise about it.
Well, it's definitely easier to do it in the public sector than it is in the private. Because in the private, you have the right to strike. I think in the private, there's pretty much two strikes. There's economic, and then there's like abuse of labor laws and stuff. So,
yeah.
But when you do that privately, they can straight up just say F you and like fire your ass. But I think they have to replace you. It's either in the public sector or in the private, but in the public, if you protest, and they can't just outright fire you.
Right.
They have to replace you, and then when the strike's over, they have to either put you back in that spot or put you through like a job process where you get offered another job. So It's really weird. There's a lot of laws today that protect people protesting.
Yeah.
Which is good, because you're right. I would want that freedom in a country where we're supposed to be the freest country in the world, right? Like, you should think, we're able to protest, and peacefully demand better wages or whatever. But since it started in the Industrial Revolution, that's when like strikes really fucking came down hard. We were like one of the first countries to allow strikes and stuff. So like there was a ton of countries that it's pretty much dictatorships for a ton of countries where it was just like, if you did that, you could either be killed, in prison, whatever. So I'm all for it. I'm also like, arguing with, if you don't like the job, get another job.
Yeah, just quit.
Like, that's the thing with, like, the teachers union. I'm like, you're a teacher. I have friends that are teachers. They make really good money. And, like, you know, I'm sure they think they could make more or want to make more. Everyone wants to make more. But they're happy. And it's because they had to jump around a little bit to go.
Yeah.
And, like, dude, you know, the professors at universities, they make bank. Like, it's crazy how much, right? I mean...
Yeah,
a lot of them do. I mean, maybe not at like the smaller universities and stuff, but
yeah, I mean, if you go to community college, you're not in a bank. But you know, D1 school, right? Like University of Texas.
Yeah.
If you're a tenured professor there, you're not in a bad spot. Like,
no.
You're gonna be able to pay your bills, somebody else's bills, a couple other people's bills.
And it's like it's kind of a weird thing because it's like they've gone to school their whole life. Then they got their bachelor, then they got their master's, PhD, and then they go straight into university. And sometimes it's hard for me to listen to these people. So I'm like, I really don't know if you know what the real world is like, you know?
Well, and that's the thing, right? Because if you've been in academia, it's basically, it's a kind of bubble.
Yes.
Right? Because the values and like what people focus on, I think, is different there than at like a company, in the real world.
Right.
So it's a different ball game. So yeah, I think there is a kind of, if you peer into that world and it's like, what the hell are these people
It's weird.
doing?
There's no like in terms of meritocracy, professors should not be telling me what the real world is.
That's a whole other.
That's a whole. I'm so. But I do want to really quick, Vlad. I want to touch base on what the outcomes were with some of these strikes in the U.S. in the recent years. I think stemming back from 2016.
Yeah, drop some knowledge on us, man.
So in early 2018, 35,000 teachers in West Virginia went on strike statewide for almost 2 weeks, resulting in a 5% pay increase. Shortly after, 20,000 teachers across the state of Arizona won a 20% salary raise by 2020 after a 5-day strike. So that was obviously in 2018, so it eventually grew. But that's 20% in 2 years is pretty good for a pay increase. Early 2019, 30,000 teachers in Los Angeles went on strike for 6 days, resulting in a 6% salary increase, smaller class sizes, and an increase in support staff. And that's a big thing I've seen in what the teachers want. They don't just want money.
Yeah.
They want smaller classroom size. They want counselors and peer whatever for a lot of these kids, because some of these public schools are fucked up, and it's good to have a some sort of professional
or something.
So it's valid what they want. I don't think they just want to sit on their ass all day but I think where it was getting kind of crazy was these teachers just wanted to stay home because of COVID, which that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it, whatever, but they wanted to stay at home and get a pay increase, and I'm like, to me, you should get a pay decrease if you're staying at home.
You think so?
For me, I'm like that. Not obviously, I wouldn't ever say that to anyone, but to ask for more money staying home at a crazy time in the country where, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it depends on what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Certainly you're not having to manage an in-person classroom, and kids can just shut off the video, or
right.
I can put a GIF up that makes me look like I'm working or something, and I got my Xbox in the background. I'm just yeah. So I don't know. I would just wonder why they wanted more money for staying at home. Is there are they having to grade more papers? Are they having to is the school district just kind of all right, guys, you come up with the lesson plans, or maybe they're just fuck it, times are hard, give me more money.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I want to go back for a second though to the $15 an hour thing, because that's kind of the angle that I looked up and researched a little bit. And so, here in Texas, right? So the minimum wage I think is $7.25, and I don't know, this may need to be fact checked, but I think that may also be the federal minimum wage, or the federal standard for minimum wage or something. And so, if you're one of these kind of frontline workers, well, even apart from that, right? There's been this this talk of money just doesn't go as far as it used to anymore.
Yeah,
or
of course.
I mean, even just look in Austin, right? You want to buy a house, $450,000, $500,000. Yeah. I mean, you're fighting with some private equity firm or some investment, banker or somebody, who's coming in.
It's not even real people anymore. It's not families you're fighting with, like you said, developers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, the little guy or the little girl, right, is getting squeezed. You know, and even apart from housing, right, like there was a statistic that came out during the pandemic, and it was like, again, this is not going to be exact, right? This is just off the top of my head, but like 30% of American families or something can't even survive like a $500 unexpected expense. Like,
how big? Like 30%?
I think
around there.
I think it's something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, if you get into an accident and it's like you got to shell out $500 to fix your car, or you know, let's say your kid falls down the stairs and like breaks his arm or something, you got to pay like medical bills or something. $500 is gonna like wreck a lot of families.
Yeah.
You know, so there's been this talk of like, well, you know, the money doesn't stretch as far as it used to, and if you look at how well people are compensated, like look at wages, that's kind of just been like meh compared to like inflation. So, you know, it's like, oh, back in my day, you know, I could go down to the 5 and dime.
Yeah.
You know, and so people were able to spend like a quarter or like, you know, $1, and you could get like groceries and breakfast and a car and a
bread,
dog.
eggs.
Yeah, like you get everything.
A pack of baseball cards.
I mean, even like the boomer generation, right? Like, it's like, okay, mid-30s, they had the family, they had the 2 kids, they had 2 cars, they had the dog.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so it's like, okay, money doesn't stretch as far. And then people are saying, some studies are saying that, you know, wages have stagnated over the past 20 years. Others, you know, other studies are like, wages have gone up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It depends on the sector, though, too.
Yeah.
Because if you're just looking at HEB wages, or HEB is a grocery store for those who aren't familiar with it in Texas, and actually they have HEB in Mexico City now.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like the first one outside of the state.
Wow.
But anyway, you know, if you're looking at like Walmart or like, you know, Target, HEB, whatever, those wages to me, when people are unhappy with them, this is where I kind of feel like I'm being a dick. Because I know a lot of people out there struggle and stuff, and not everyone can just be like super responsible. Shit happens sometimes. Like, you get a kid, you have a kid. Like, you fucked up, now you got a kid. It's not like you shouldn't have had a kid.
The kid's there, you got it.
Yeah, now you got to fend for your kid and you.
Yeah.
My argument is like that in a free market, because I like capitalism.
Yeah.
But I'm more of like a free market kind of guy too.
Can you just kind of like explain like five what the difference is?
So capitalism, I think the problem with that today and why so many people hate it, because it's the crony capitalism, which we did speak of last year, which is, you know, politicians in bed with the boosters and the lobbyists in bed with Congress and politicians, and it's just it's something that benefits only the rich and wealthy.
Just a big money orgy.
Yeah, when in capitalism at its core is good to me, where capitalism creates jobs, creates wealth, creates better health standards in the world, stuff like that. At its core, to me, free market is a bit like capitalism, but it's less government regulations and control. Where free market is like, it's a competitive workplace. It's like, hey, I'm 18 or I'm 15. I just started working at HEB. I want to learn the tools and you know, gain knowledge and go to the next pot. I think a lot of people in this country just say, fuck it, I'll be a cashier, or I'll be a bag checker, or whatever. And like, to me, that's the big part of the problem. It's like, I just don't think people want to get further. They because if you're gonna, so say you make a dude at Popeyes, you know, $15 minimum wage. To me, that's the worst thing you can do, because that just makes people comfortable being a dude cooking up fries or something. You know what I mean? And it also is, I think, has a ton of indirect ramifications. If you make it just like across the board, $15, a lot of people are gonna get laid off. It's going to create more poverty, because now people aren't going to work as many hours. There's not as many employees. It'll raise some people out of poverty, but I think it's going to put just as many back into poverty, because now people I can't hire you. If I'm a mom and pop shop, which, you know, a lot of dying, obviously, there's not a lot out there anymore. If you say, hey, you got to pay me $15 an hour, it's the law, I can't afford you. So now
Popeyes is not a mom and pop shop.
No, I'm saying, I know Popeyes isn't, but Popeyes is also a business, and they're smart. They're not going to just keep on the same amount of people at a restaurant, because they're going to lose a ton of money in their eyes.
Oh, so I see what you're saying. You're saying if So if the federal government says, all right, states, U.S. states, new minimum wage is $15, corporations are going to look to maximize profit and cost, or maximize profit, minimize cost, right? So they're going to say, all right, I got this team of like 8 people on my Popeyes PM shift. These expenditures are just getting a little bit too high. You and you, done.
Exactly.
Pack your shit.
Or cut your hours. You're still making. So if you're working 40 hours at Popeyes, now I cut you to 20. You're still making the same amount you were before at $8 or $9 an hour or $7. It's just there's a ton of things that people. It sounds great, of course. If things all stayed the same, and if Burger King wouldn't fire me because you know what I mean. It's just not the people that are begging for it the most. I hate to say, I'm trying to say this the right way. It's the job they're working is not.
It's not worth.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't warrant $15 an hour.
Okay,
that's the problem. Because you're right. Their money does not go as far as it used to, and it's tough out there. But I think we all start at the beginning and just say, listen, I need to either go to school, whether you believe it or not, go to school. I need to not have a kid until I'm married. I have a good job or whatever. It all starts right fucking there. I know it's harder for a lot of people to just say that in their mind. There's a ton of people who grow up in poverty. But according to statistics, most people that live in poverty don't even work. So they're getting a lot of government help. So it's like, it's not even really a poverty thing, at the end of the day. Because I think that was another thing. I'm sorry if I'm rambling here. But that was another thing was with COVID, a lot of people were just getting paid to sit at home. And they weren't returning to work even after, people were getting vaccinated, stuff like that for whatever reason. So I don't know. I just feel like that's not the answer. For me.
Yeah, so I'm glad you raised some of these points because I was also reading into this. So I want to go back to the government benefits one because this is an interesting one to me. I'm looking at it from the perspective of there are 2 companies, right? Walmart and McDonald's, who pay their workers, whatever they pay them, right? But one of their policies, right, that has come to light is they're just encouraging their workers to go on food stamps. It's like, hey, look, we are not going to increase your pay. We're not going to give you any more hours, but if you need some extra help or whatever, government safety net. So I don't think you can come at it from the angle of okay, some of these people are just on benefits and they don't want to work more or switch jobs, because the corporations are doing the exact same thing. They're just pushing the responsibility on the government. And I would say, so yes, there are going to be some people, right? Like we were talking about at the very beginning of the show, who are just like, man, this job, it makes me a little bit of money. It's not really, the greatest job, but I'm just going to do it because, why not? What else am I going to do? I could work harder, but I don't want to do that. Yes, there are folks out there who don't really want to push for more. But I think at the same time, there are still people who do want more, but really they don't really have options. If the company, if Walmart is hey, we had to cut your shift. Okay, I'm sorry about that. We're not really, it's just not in the cards to increase your pay, but I know you got 4 kids at home. How about these food stamps? Why don't you just do that? So to me, I understand where you're coming from, but I think we also have to look at both sides are doing it. It's not just the people. I think some of the corporations too are also well, let's just foist the responsibility on the government.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's where my issue is, because we know how these assholes are, a lot of these corporations. They're not gonna pay you $15 an hour and keep everyone on board.
Yeah.
So that's my solution, is just I hate to say it, but there's a lot of people that work these jobs that they need it, and they're not high school kids. But a lot of these jobs are 20 years ago was this is what you did when you were 15.
Right.
You bust the table, or you were
you're saving up for a car, your first car, or something.
And it's it worked.
Yeah.
But now it's just there's, I don't know. It's just people have become too reliant on
jobs.
I just want this. Well, no, yeah. Well, the people working, sure, but it's you bring up the whole thing where corporations just get on food stamps. There's a ton of people that are they're already on food stamps.
Yeah.
Because they have to be.
Yeah.
So it's that's not right. I get it, but it's just to me, the main solution would be education and people just trying their hard, because not everyone can make it in this life. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's like an economist, Thomas Sowell, who once said there's no solutions, only trade-offs.
Yeah.
So like there's never, ever, ever, even in which we don't live in a perfect world, but even in a perfect world, it's just like not everyone can be happy or equal. You know what I mean? In terms of...
Yeah, I don't think there's a perfect solution to like income inequality or poverty or anything.
Yeah.
Like, as the economist said, right, like you're always going to have to give up something to get something,
Right.
or like you're getting something by giving something up.
Right.
So yeah, certainly I have no idea what the actual solution is.
But it's a little scary too, because it's like you think of small businesses too, which we all try to like. I mean, I don't even. What's the last small business you went to?
Let me think about it.
I don't know.
So the last small business I would say I went to is probably a small coffee shop called Sorrento's.
Okay.
But that's like, I don't go to them every day. I don't go to them every week. It's maybe like once every couple months.
Yeah.
Like at that. So this is actually, I'm going to get on my soapbox here because...
Here we go. It's your turn now, Vlad.
I like thinking about that. Actually, there's a John Oliver clip about this and I can see it in my head. So politicians, right, love on both sides, love to talk about how small business is the backbone of the American economy, right? And there's always this argument that like we can't do this because it's going to squeeze the small guy. And I think yes, to some extent that's definitely true. Like if let's say the minimum wage was like $45 an hour, right? Like just something crazy. I have no idea how they would stay in business. Like, I mean, it's the common things, right, that people toss out when we're talking about increasing the minimum wage, right? Prices have to go up.
Yep.
Okay, sure. So now you're paying what, like, let's say $18 for a cup of coffee. Nobody's gonna pay that, like, unless this is like the fountain of youth or something. So then the business is gonna close down, right? So then at that point, there's sort of, at least to me, there's two ways to look at it. First, maybe that business should have closed down, right? This is like the economic argument of the market has shifted, right? Supply and demand and, the little curves. And it's like, okay, if the cost of goods has gone up, right, but there's no demand for it, then like all the businesses around are going to fall. The other way, right, of looking at it is like, is it really worth that? Or like, what happens at that $45, point? So certainly I get it. Like, yes, I think the small guy is going to get squeezed out. But ultimately, like, I always like try to map this back to a big company, right? If the cost of doing business has gone up, then what happens independent of increasing wages? Like when people were scrambling and couldn't find bread and yeast at the supermarket, even gas, right? Like prices go up. Corporations, big companies,
Gouge it. Price gouge.
Yeah, they pass that the savings on to us, right? So why shouldn't it be true and the same for the small guy? The thing I'm not sure about, right, is like how does a small guy stay competitive at $15 an hour, right? But that also makes me think back to like this capitalism and competitive market of like you have to innovate, you always have to be new trick up your sleeve, stay sharp, stay above the competition. What is it? It's like competition breeds the best landscape or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that. So then maybe $15 an hour isn't bad because that'll force the small businesses to have to innovate and force them to come up with some really cool shit that will make people want to support prices or goods at an increased price point. And of course, right, they're also probably gonna have to dig into their profits.
Yeah, but the thing with small businesses, they're not innovative. They're small businesses. They're not Tesla.
Yeah.
They can't just be like, all right, let's allocate another $1 billion. Like, that's the problem. Is like most small businesses are like, it's a hardware store. It's a TCBY Treats. Because you can franchise those. I know it's a corporation.
TCBY, hit us up.
Yeah, hit us up. I love Froyo. We don't have TCBY in Austin, right?
I think there's one on the end of the drag. Actually, it may not even still be there.
I thought it was like Amy's.
Oh, it's gone now.
Oh, you know what? I think I remember.
There's like by the Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's still okay. You're talking way down the draft.
Yeah, this is like the
like
end
Martin
of
Luther
it.
King and
Yeah, exactly.
I know my streets, and Talia. Oh my God, she'd be
He
so
knows
proud
these
of me.
streets.
Yeah, no, that's the thing though. Is I guess that's why I asked you like, what was the last small business you went to? Because I'm on a soapbox about like you can't support small business.
Yeah.
But I don't even know the last small bit. It was probably a coffee shop too or something. But it's like I don't even. What am I doing with small business? Everywhere I go is like a corporation or a major company. So, you know, I want to defend small businesses, and I know if it's $15 an hour minimum wage for a small business, they can't handle that.
Yeah.
That's just too much. Unless they do make a lot of profit, which maybe they could afford to hire the high school kid, you know, around instead of the family members. But I think a lot of small businesses don't have a lot of employees anyway, to begin with. So it's like
a handful of folks.
Yeah. So, which I don't know that for sure. I don't know what constitutes as a small business anymore. Like how, because there's a lot of big small businesses. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
like there's houseware stores or hardware stores that are like technically small businesses.
Yeah.
But
I think it's either, I don't know, I probably need to look this up, but it's either based on total profits or like either profits/revenue or number of employees.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, I think to your point though, it is hard, right? Like, because I'm, you know, like let's take Amazon for example, right? Like if I need a new charger for my phone, right? Maybe the cable broke and it's not charging anymore. We're talking something that, you know, is, in my opinion, maybe $3-5. Amazon, you know, you can find it $10-15 if you have Prime. If not, God help you.
Yeah.
You know,
if not, get with the program.
Yeah. And you know, I of course am like thinking about it. Bezos is doing his billionaire, you know, dick ship thing, right?
Yeah.
With Elon.
It is a straight up dick ship too.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's thinking.
You got to be.
Is he even paying? Do you think he even knows what's going on?
Bezos?
Or do you think that he's just like, do it?
I don't know.
He doesn't understand like.
But can
space,
you though?
does he?
No, I don't think he understands
Because
space.
Elon gets it.
Yeah, but I think it's also what it represents. Like,
Yeah.
if you think back to like the 20th century and the 19th century industrialists and titans,
Yeah.
like there's being able to do something big, but that's also a show of like, I fucking did
Superiority,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like I did this thing that no one
Life-changing.
else could do.
Yeah.
You know, that's like, that puts you here.
Yeah.
Like you get the billions, you go from like, you know, scrub level to here, but
Yeah.
now it's like I went to fucking space. It's like, oh.
You know who else just started a space company?
What's his name? Branson?
No. So Steve, is it Steve Wozniak, the co-founder?
Oh
He
yeah,
just-
the Woz.
This week he just came out. He's like, I'm gonna start a space company too. Fuck you.
So I heard, yeah, I did. That's a good call. I did hear about that. I'm very curious about it because I heard that it's like for like harvesting garbage or space debris or
That's
something
sick.
like that.
That's some real like Blade Runner shit right there. But you see, that's free market right there. All these rich assholes who are so bored are like, fuck it, I'll start creating a new NASA. I'm like, I got so much money, I don't know what to fucking do.
So okay, there's like two questions I have for you then because so first one I want to go back to the small business though. The capitalism, right? Capitalistic system. If you think like AT&T versus T-Mobile, right?
Yeah.
Like they got to go head to head under this capitalistic system. How does this work for small business? If I have a restaurant and you have a restaurant, and let's say like, you know, you're on this block, I'm on the next block. In capitalism, doesn't that mean that small businesses like my restaurant and your restaurant, right, have to compete against each other and get innovative? You know?
Yeah.
So,
Because go ahead. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
like the mom and pop hardware stores, like, I mean, it sounds cruel, and I don't mean to like, I don't want this to come off as heartless, but under that capitalistic system, like, they have to innovate. Whether that's like, we're gonna do a curbside pickup, or we've got, you know, Joe, the co-founder, who's got 20 years of handyman experience, is gonna come out and start teaching classes or do, like, they need to offer something more and, you know, continue to like tweak what their competitive advantage is to stay relevant.
Well, so you're speaking of it from a point of view where you're just, it's a fact. That's a fact because they're getting cannibalized pretty much by all the giants, Amazon, Home Depot, Lowe's, in terms of a hardware store, mom and pop. So they have, the way they can innovate is they can't, to me, because their price is already higher than Amazon and Home Depot because they have to be.
Yeah.
In terms of innovation and curbside and you know, same day delivery.
Yeah, I'm just throwing those things out.
No, I know, but you're right. That is those are things you would throw out if you were like meeting and saying like, how do we get bigger? You know what I mean? I don't know if they can. In terms of restaurants, like other small mom and pop independent, you know, companies or whatever, I think those places win the most. I think bars and restaurants, especially in Austin, are like the ones that are fucking killing it. When you look at that compared to Chili's or like TGI Fridays, Olive Garden, which are all, you know, those are
the last time I was in a Chili's.
Yeah, they're all going out of business though. Like they're closing down left and right. Even Best Buy closed like, I think it was like 1,000 Best Buys across the country.
R.I.P. Circuit City.
Yeah, R.I.P. Radio Shack. I'll at your boy. You remember Sharper Image?
Oh god. I
bunch of shit I did. I was like, what is this?
I always wondered how they were a legitimate business.
It was like a drug, like
it had
money laundering.
Yeah,
that shit was cool though.
It was cool. Like trying out all the little gadgets in the store was super cool.
It was very techy before.
Yeah,
tech, you know, like it was just very basic.
But okay, so I agree with what you're saying about like the big box hardware stores like Lowe's, Home Depot. Mm-hmm. Certainly, they're gonna have more muscle and be able to. They're gonna push out the little guy.
Yeah.
But, and again, like in my mind, capitalistic system, if you can't compete, if you can't innovate, you die. Mm-hmm. Which means your business shouldn't exist. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying that there shouldn't be mom and pop stores, but like
I get you.
Following
like,
the
survival
logic
of the fittest.
Yeah, it's like
innovate.
If you can't, you know.
If you can't, you can't. There's been tons of better businesses that have gone under since then. Yeah. No, I totally get that, but I think in order for, because I said I like capitalism, but I'm more free market. Mm-hmm. But in order for free market to work, there's a lot of things that have to change that just simply can't anymore. Because government regulation, guaranteed student loans to all these like big universities that started in the 60s. Mm-hmm. You know, that was part of like a government regulation on what used to be like colleges were just like, hey, it's $300 for the semester. And it's like, now that they're guaranteed thousands of dollars from the federal government, that's when they start building all these big ass gyms, and now there's no parking at Texas State.
Oh, you're talking about the universities and colleges themselves, not the students.
Well, yeah, not the students.
Okay.
But I'm just talking about like a lot of problems we see with government regulation can be stemming back from like the college stuff, and like the Democrats got with the federal government and guaranteed these loans would be repaid. So the federal government's just like shitting them money out left and right.
So how should it be?
I think it should just be universities go back to how it was. You charge this not $40,000.
Yeah.
You know, and plus living expenses. Say I'm at Texas State and I'm 18 or 19 and I want to live there. It's like fucking $30,000 a year sometimes, or like $20,000.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's just not right. I mean, I love you, Texas State, but it's not Harvard. That should be like what Harvard would pay. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But even then, that's just abhorrent what those people pay. But I think with a free market, it's no government involvement. It's about like, hey, I want to go to this school. I don't want to pay for all this stupid shit where it's a bloated administration getting paid tons of money. There's like multiple people working the same job. That's all because of like the government involvement. So that's my big thing with less government control in a free market. Not necessarily capitalism, which is to me, I like it, but a free market is it stems back to working these fucking terrible jobs. Like a free market is about like, I don't like this job, I'm going to go to the next job. Or it goes also back to last season, you were talking about you would wish the government would allocate more funds to training and teaching people new skills.
Yeah, trade jobs.
Yeah, and that was another point of this article was that's what a lot of people are arguing was let's get the government more involved in actually training people, teaching them new skills, getting them out into a real workforce, not at the 7-Eleven, that kind of shit. So
yeah, I mean that makes obviously I'm gonna agree with that. But I mean, to your point, like, because some of the stuff that I was looking at too was also making the case that, as you said, right, there are a place for these jobs. The high schooler who's trying to save for their first car,
kids.
or if you have a criminal record and it's tough for you to get hired, like, hey, pick up a shift here, do this thing. I think the surprising thing to me is like that these jobs still exist. Like,
true, with automation and
yeah, like there's a company in California that has actually made robots that will fully assemble a burger.
no.
So
Okay.
yeah, so I mean, like if again, right, like if I'm a business owner and I'm looking at a balance sheet, like here's how I would think about it. I know what my P&L looks like,
Yeah.
right? I know my brand, my competitive advantage, I know who my competitors are. I say, you know, I'm going to take, I don't know how much these robots cost, right? But let's just say I'm going to take 250,000. We're going to replace all of the burger flippers with these robots. And then we're going to have those people, well, I guess this is the thing. If you have them focus on customer service, that's kind of weird, right? Because it's like,
But what fast food is really concerned with customer service?
yeah, like that's my point. Like if you go to McDonald's and somebody's like, hey there,
Yeah.
how would you like your burger done today?
They're like, what the fuck you want?
Exactly. So I don't know. I guess my point here is like I think you can automate out some of the like minimum wage jobs and then just repurpose those people to do something else for you that's providing some value.
Yeah. I also read that we had like a speaker come talk to us about, I don't even know, I think it was strategic business or some shit. But they were talking about the automation, because the robots, it's happening.
Oh, they're
it's
coming.
not happening.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
But they were talking about somehow the robots I sound like a 50-year-old. The automation, AI, whatever.
And the face,
the main robots.
Twitter.
Trump is still your president. But they were talking about how automation would actually cause more jobs because there's more people that have to actually like deal with this shit and like monitor it. It's not, obviously the automation takes care of a lot of labor, like actual physical labor, but in terms of job creation being just totally destroyed, it actually might enhance some jobs in some fields. But I just want to say the whole argument with people like not getting minimum wage or these are the only jobs. There's so many fucking sectors in this country that are still hiring out the ass.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, law enforcement's hiring out the ass.
Yeah.
They're paying more than they ever have, which it's a dangerous job. A lot of people don't like cops. They've gotten a bad rap.
We're always going to need law enforcement.
Yeah, law enforcement, medical sector, hiring out the ass, academia, hiring out the ass.
Yeah.
So there's out. That's all. I guess that's my main argument. Is there are outlets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think even when you're born with the shittiest hand of cards in the world, it's hard to get out of it. Not a lot do, but there's a lot of people that don't try as hard as they could. And you know, it's easy for me to say like I'm doing okay in this world, and there's a lot of people suffering and stuff, and I feel for them, but I just don't think like just a $15 minimum raise is just like that. Boom, like we did it.
Yeah, it's not
Game.
It's not the magic wand that you wave and it's gonna fix everything. I agree with you there. And I mean, yeah, there is like personal accountability definitely plays a large part of it, right? Like you have to try, you have to take advantage of the opportunities, or at least, you know, seek out those opportunities. There was a clip I saw, I think it's like a YouTube short, and this guy is like walking through, I don't know, some forest or some park, right? And he's talking about like Americans and like privilege and stuff. And like, you know, the video is very like, okay, like social media-y. But there's one thing, like one point that he does kind of raise in this, and I was like, yeah, actually that makes a lot of sense. He's like, Americans don't actually really know like real poverty. Like,
that's it.
Because if you think about it, right, like being poor in this country is not the same as being poor in some other countries.
Yeah.
Like,
try being poor in Zimbabwe.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you don't even have to go to Zimbabwe. I mean, go to like Central America, for example.
Oh well, yeah, that's
right.
That's
I mean,
rough.
There's places like even just living, right? You're gonna get
Guatemala is like a complete
nightmare. Got like the gangs and stuff like that. So, I mean, there are places you can go where you just won't have food to eat. Your safety is threatened. Like you may not have shoes, clothes, you know. So, I mean, here at least, right? Like there's food pantries. There's like, you know, training courses. There's shelters. There's not saying like, okay, if you're poor in America, it's easy. But what I am saying is like,
there's more outlets to getting out of that.
Yeah, compared to somebody who is in a country where poverty is even more extreme.
There's no jobs in those countries. There's no like, hey, I make a quick $200. cutting grass or something this week.
No, I mean that's the thing, right? Like there are people who are in worse situations, not because they don't want to get out of it, but there's no opportunities for them. I mean, this is like we're going on a detour here, but like this is the whole point of America, right? Like this is why America is the land of opportunity.
Yeah.
Because you can come to this country, no one cares about your background, what your family does or didn't do, you know, like what your father did, what your mother did, which country you came from. It's just like as long as you work hard, you know, put in the time, you know, grind, get those opportunities, you can be whatever you want to be. Like at least to me, that's the whole, that's the totally promise, agree. That's the dream, that's the marketing pamphlet for America, right? Yeah. So, yeah.
No, I totally agree with you. I really do.
But anyway. we've gone deep.
Yeah.
Very deep.
I'm glad we got to talk about the $15 minimum wage thing.
Yeah.
Like, because I did a ton of, research.
Yeah.
And it does tie in, I guess, with the work. You know what, Movo? I gotta say something real quick, guys. Movo, you guys are freaking pissing me off with these mics, okay? These suck. All right? And I noticed Vlad switched the seats, but he also switched the mic. So he knew exactly what the fuck he was doing.
I'm not gonna take that wonky mic.
No, you know what, Movo? For the price, I guess. Actually, no, these were kind of expensive, so fuck you.
Yeah, they were expensive.
Fuck you, Movo. Just kidding. We love you, Momo. But anyway, Vlad, let's end this fucking episode with, it's something that I've known about for a while.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard about it and shit. The Met Gala.
Yeah, so this was a weird one for me. So like, cause I'm not like I don't follow celebrities. I don't really care what they do.
Yeah.
It's like somebody told me once, they're like, well, there's a rumor about Drake, and I was like, I don't give a shit.
Drake's gay.
Yeah, it's like, how does that impact me? Like,
yeah.
It's not gonna make my life better or worse. Like,
yeah.
Drake doesn't care about me, so
no.
Whatever. But yeah, I saw some photos on the interwebs of Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
And I had some questions. I was very concerned. It kind of looked like the Dementors had swarmed into the Met Gala.
That's a Harry Potter reference.
Yeah.
I never saw Harry Potter.
Did you read the books?
I read half of one.
Okay.
I didn't like it. Going to a Catholic school, they told you not to read that.
Satanic references.
Yes. That's witchcraft, Joey. Well, Jesus did that in the Bible. Lazarus, hello.
Yeah, raised him from the dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Kim Kardashian had this very strange outfit that it's either like looks like a Dementor or it's a full leather, I don't know, spandex or some, like bodysuit, but like it has like zippers on the eyes and it's like it looks like very strange and very weird.
Nightmare Before Christmas shit.
Yeah, so like I was like, wait, where is this? Like the Met Gala? Like, what is this event actually about? Because this seems.
Did you ever think about that before you saw?
No.
Okay, so Met Gala is pretty much like the Academy Awards of fashion.
Okay.
So everyone just dresses like.
Oh, so it is fashion related.
Yes. It's completely fashion related.
Okay.
I'm sure they do some really creepy shit afterwards at a party. But I always knew it was like outrageous. You know, it's obviously fashion. To me, is very objective.
Yeah.
So it's like it's whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's just like some of the outfits. The Kim Kardashian thing is her with the fucking the gimp outfit. Kanye's been doing that a lot.
Yeah.
Before his release of Donda.
See, that's what I was thinking. I was like, that's a total Kanye move, but I thought they just split.
They did, but this is the thing. They split, but she's very heavily involved in a lot of his parts of business.
Right.
In terms of Adidas, with Yeezy.
Yeah.
And, just a lot of promotions, and it's like, Hollywood's already fucking weird, and LA, and just shit like that. That even if you're divorced, you're like, yeah, what's the... Oh my...
Jesus,
Mo, get your head out of your ass! But no, even in terms of that, when there's billions of dollars in line, you're still gonna be like, I'll help you out with your.
So it comes back to money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And who knows? Maybe they're fine. We're just like, we're not fucking anymore. I don't know. It's like, let's get divorced. But I'm sure Kanye's crazy as fuck. Yeah. Actually, he might be more normal than anyone in Hollywood. You just never know. I think Kanye's fine. You know, we all got our issues. His are magnified or whatever, but you know, when you've been a part of the Kardashians for like 10 years, who knows what's going in your mind? Yeah. You know what I mean? You can't have a normal day at McDonald's.
I mean, I think the whole celebrity thing is just crazy. Yeah. Like, I would never want to be in the public spotlight like that. I do think that there is some like weird shit that happens behind the scenes.
Definitely.
But I also think some of the stuff Kanye says, like, I think there's
marketing.
You think so?
Yes.
I think there's...
He's a very smart man.
He is, but I think there's some mental issue there.
Well, sure. But who doesn't have, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like everyone's got some fucking shit going on. But I think a lot of his stuff is like, he's just... Because he always comes out with crazy shit before an album. So he's just like...
Yeah, but...
raises awareness, where it gets people talking. You know?
Sure, but like, I mean, if you look at some of the stuff, like, okay, he bought, it was like 500 acres in Montana.
Yes.
Right?
Beautiful.
And so he was like doing this video, right? And he's talking about like him and his dad and like how he spazzed out on his dad because his dad said something and then his dad's like, well, that's not very Christian of you. Or there's even the interview with Sway, like, you ain't got the answers, Sway. You ain't got the answers.
You can't tell me, Sway. You know what the thing why he blew up on Sway in the morning?
Why?
Or on is it Sway in the morning? Like Shade 45.
Yeah.
Right? On satellite radio. He was, you know, he made a shit ton of money before that moment, right?
Oh yeah.
So he was in debt, like total net worth negative.
Yeah.
Because he was creating his own clothing line, right? So he was like negative 50 million or something. Yeah. Even after he could have been fine, even after the first 3-4 albums. He was so in debt and he was so pissed off that like he wasn't really getting a ton of help in like making his company. I think that's why he lost his fucking mind there. But now he's worth $1 billion. So the fact that he took that, he came from nothing, number one.
Yeah.
Made something, lost it all, even went negative, then took it back to $1 billion. To me, I would be crazy as fuck. I would be the nuttiest motherfucker in the room, honestly. Like Elon Musk to the nth degree.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, I don't know. I mean, to me, I feel like he's normal. I think he's fine.
No,
he's a fine human being.
I think something is definitely wrong there. Like, I'm not saying he's not making money, like he's not a good businessman. Like,
but that takes something out of you, though. I think any billionaire is extremely eccentric and just off. Because you're just not, there's no normal billionaire.
You think Warren Buffett is just out there just like punching horses at night?
He's definitely cow tipping. I don't know. I think Warren Buffett might be the most normal out of any billionaire, but...
I mean, it's probably a spectrum, right? Like, I mean, you look at Zuckerberg and it's like, that dude's definitely
He's
an alien.
A fucking reptilian.
Yeah.
He's a draconian... lizard.
The aliens are among us, people.
They are, for sure, because he exists.
Wait, so what are we talking about again?
We're talking about the Met Gala.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm shocked Russell Westbrook didn't wear a dress. I thought he was really
Has he done that before?
Oh, yeah. That's like the thing now. It's like a
feminization
of...
I thought Little Thug was the first one to wear a dress.
Young Thug? Did you just say Little Thug?
One of the thugs. One of the thugs.
Maybe you're thinking Little Baby.
Oh, but then there's also Da Baby.
There's Da Baby, Little Baby, Young Thug.
Yeah,
there's
Young
no
Thug.
Little Thug.
Young Thug, yeah.
God damn it, I almost said Little Thug. That's racist, Joey. No. Young Thug did do like the whole, because on his album, like...
The album cover.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he did start a lot of that, but there was a big widespread panic with a lot of, I guess, men who are angry at other men for wearing a dress. I don't give a fuck, really. I think it's a little weird. I would never wear a dress, no matter how much money they pay me or how many times they threaten to kill my family. The Illuminati. Glad? No.
Got him on speed dial.
Yeah.
Call for you, Joey.
Yeah. I don't get it, but to me it's nothing. Like, I grew up with like the guy from Korn wearing like but I guess it's Irish, the kilt. You remember like the people wearing kilts and shit?
I don't remember seeing a lot of them, but I see like one guy or something, and it's like he was very Irish, and you know he had the little dagger in his sock and stuff. I'm like, okay, this is an Irish thing. Like,
we had a free dress day at my school, and like everyone's just wearing like dumb shit, you know, Abercrombie and Fitch or whatever. And this dude David straight up wore a kilt, and like all decked out. I was like, that's a hell of a way to honor free dress day, man. You only get one of those a year, so respect.
Yeah.
But yeah, the dress thing is like there's like a big feminization of men, and there's a ton of men that don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm indifferent. I think I watched like a Joe Rogan podcast where he said like the end of every empire, women and men were like gender bending. Like that was like the last like they were just like men wore dresses, makeup, this, that, and then women started wearing more masculine shit. I don't know if there's any truth to that. It was on Joe Rogan, so who knows?
Yeah,
I mean Joe Rogan.
Like, I'm thinking like what can a woman wear that's like?
Well, not just like what they wear, but like there's a huge trans movement, right? Like it's been around forever. There's been in the 70s, 80s, 90s, people have been
but I would say it's more advanced.
It's very prominent right now.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So I think that's what he was talking. It was really interesting to be honest, but the Met Gala was weird. I don't know if you saw Kid Cudi.
Yeah, he had was it like green hair?
Yeah.
It reminded me of Dennis Rodman. That's the vibe that I got.
Big time. There's also a rapper, what's his name? God damn it, big fat guy. I Miss the Rage song, you know what I'm talking about?
I Miss the Rage.
I Miss the Rage!
And
Mario Judah. So he's like a young, devilish, Illuminati's got a hold of his ass. But he wears the same shit, so everyone was saying like Kid Cudi was copying him or something, like trying to like cramp his style. But Russell Westbrook, like I said, shocked he didn't wear the dress because I feel like he was a pioneer for that too. But he was in like a really cool suit.
Yeah.
He had like the star in his hair.
Okay.
Like the stencil with the blue. It looked pretty cool. I gotta admit. But I will say, Vlad, if we were entertainers and we were just rich as fuck and bored on a Saturday night, we would have gone to the Met Gala. We would have gone. All our friends would have been there.
Yeah, I guess if you're a popular celebrity or you're in fashion or something. I mean, but I don't think it's a requirement to have like an outlandish like fashion or attire. And
this was the AOC.
Yeah, Tax the Rich.
Tax the Rich at one of the richest events in the world.
So this one, so I had like a 2-part reaction to it, right? Because I saw it and I laughed and I was like, this is a very AOC thing to do. Yes. Like, of course, she's got Tax the Rich on the back of her dress.
In her $10,000 dress.
Yeah. But so then that was kind of like my second reaction of like, wait a second, hold on. Like, she's saying Tax the Rich and she has this on her dress, but it's $30,000 a pop for a plate at the Met Gala. So somebody had to pay for that.
Or you get invited. I think a lot of these, the only way, because I did read into that. So to be fair to AOC, most of these people are just straight up invited. And they come for free.
Oh.
But that's the one thing I didn't know, because she brought her freaking husband. Does he have to pay? But, at the end of the day, AOC is rich.
Is she?
Yes. She lives in New York on a high-rise, guards at the gate, drives a Tesla, parks illegally on the street all the time. There's proof of that. She's fine. She's doing just great.
Yeah, because I guess
you can't live in a high-rise in New York City.
Well, I'm more thinking about it as like she's a politician, right? And given her occupation, I think they get like 6-figure salaries or something.
Oh yeah, easy.
So, because I mean, like it's not just her, right, as a politician, but like Mitch McConnell, like anybody else who's a senator, congressman, whatever. Like there's some base salary that they get,
right? Which is nothing.
No,
compared to the perks.
Yeah, so the perks they get is like really good healthcare, right? Yeah. This is again is like the fucked up part, right? Like we don't have universal free healthcare, but the politicians get it.
Exactly.
What the fuck? Like,
God damn it, we got to wrap this up. Oh my god, my wife and Janelle are gonna murder us. Anyway, guys, this was the second episode of season 2. We are having a ball, guys, just being back. We're in a new setting, as you can see. We're gonna get back on that social. We got new flyers and marketing shit.
Yeah, we're gonna hit the ground running with some more promos. We got some stuff coming out. Look for it, around town. And of course, if you haven't, check us out. We're on Spotify, Instagram, all the socials you could ever think of. And hey, thank you for listening. And we also want to hear from you. So hit us up, on Instagram, Twitter, however you want to reach out. Let us know what you think. We want to hear from you, the listeners, the viewers. Tell us what's on your mind.